The objective in Dark Souls is normally pretty simple. Place the Lordvessel to dispel the golden fog gates, so you can collect the 4 Lord Souls and open the door to the kiln. But what if we wanted to do things out of order and collect the Lord Souls first? Maybe we want to impress Guinevere by arriving already prepared. Or maybe we just want to show Gwyn that his fog walls have no power over us. There's no real reason to do this other than for fun, so let's see how it goes. We're gonna want to start this run off like any other, by killing the Asylum Demon and leaving the Asylum. This time around, we're gonna grab this soul on the way out. As soon as we arrive in Lordvessel, we're gonna want to force quit out of the game. This will confuse the game's position data, and upon loading back in, we'll spawn high above the Undead Burg. A well-timed save and quit will allow us to survive the fall, basically allowing us to start the game from here instead of Firelink Shrine. Now we can make our way through this door backwards, heading over to the bonfire and lighting it, saving and quitting, and then resting at it when we load back in. From there, head over to the Undead Merchant and use the prompt swap glitch to use 99 of the soul we picked up. Now speak to the merchant and buy the Residence Key, a scimitar, a short bow, the East-West shield, and 999 wooden arrows. Now we're going to make a precise jump over this railing, saving and quitting out before we touch the ground so that we load back in on top of it. When you load back in, equip the straight sword hilt, look to the chimney on the building across, and perform a light swing to get onto the wall. Once you're there, equip the East-West shield for safety, drop down, and head behind the fire to create some hot dogs. Saving and quitting will get any remaining enemies off of us and allow us to head over and free Griggs with no worries. Now we're going to follow the normal path through the Undead Burg, making our way into Havel's Tower. Make your way to the bottom of the tower, head outside, and then perform a force quit wrong warp to get to the start of Darkroot Garden. Head into the Undead Parish, rest at the bonfire, and then make your way to the top of the tower. From here we're going to lure one of the enemies towards the second post from the bottom of the stairs, parrying and riposting him to clip into the Death Game's trigger, which will allow us to enter Sen's Fortress early. When you load back into Sen's Fortress, lure the 2 man-serpents away from the wall so that you can grab the soul that's behind them. After that, make your way over to the man-serpent that's sleeping against this wall. If we stand right up against the wall he was sleeping against, we can get him to break the wall for us, run inside the room, and then save and quit. Loading back in, we can free Logan and speak to him, and then head over to one of the other cages to grab a soul of a hero. Back in the Undead Parish, we can head down to Andre and bring up a drop prompt on our wooden arrows to store a quantity of 999 in memory. From there, we can use prompt swap to use 999 of one of the soul items we picked up. With that done, we can buy the Crest of Artorias from Andre, then use prompt swap between the standard arrows and longsword to buy 999 longswords. Bringing up a prompt on the longsword after this will store a quantity of negative 998 in memory, allowing us to use prompt swap to duplicate our other soul item and humanity by using the prompt swap to drop a negative quantity of them. We can now drop all of our soul items except one, then use the quantity storage and prompt swap glitches to use 999 of the one we have remaining in our inventory. Afterwards, you can pick up the other 98 off the ground. With this done, rest at the bonfire and level up as much as you want. Now head to Firelink and speak to Griggs. Buy Fall Control, a Catalyst, and both of his rings. Now speak to Logan by Great Heavy Soul Arrow, Homing Soul Mass, and Soul Spear.
I will stay here.
Back in the Undead Parish, attune the spells we bought. Make your way to the locked door in Darkroot Garden, open it, and save and quit. Loading back in, roll through the illusory wall and rest at the bonfire. Head down to the Hydra, equip your Catalyst and the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring along the way. Take out the Hydra, make your way over to where the golden Regice spawns, and then save and quit. When you load back in, kill the Regice to free Dusk, and speak to her. Head to the shore to summon and speak to Dusk, then back to where we rescued her to collect her crown. Now we can finally start dealing with some bosses, so take out Sif and collect the Covenant of Artorias. Now make your way all the way back to Firelink, go through New Londo Ruins and into the back entrance to Blighttown. Once you're there, do a fall damage cancel into a meme roll to get to the bottom safely. Now pay Quelaag a short visit. Head into the Demon Ruins and rest at the bonfire. After that, either kill Ceaseless or perform Ceaseless Skip. Note that if you skip him, the bonfire by the Rockworm will not spawn, making the following sequence riskier. Now make your way through the rest of the demonic ruins, up to the area near the Golden Fog Gate, and save and quit out. When you load back in, kill the two nearby demonic statues as well as the Taurus demon, since we want them out of the way for the next trick. Once they're dealt with, equip the East-West shield as your right-hand weapon and jump up to the area behind the nearby Rockworm. To skip the Golden Fog Gate, we need to walk backwards into the wall behind the Rockworm and perform a grab cancel by hitting it with a light swing as soon as we see it start its grab animation. If done right, we'll clip through the wall and land in the ceiling of the Centipede Demon's arena. With fall control and a couple rolls, we can survive the drop into the arena and walk by the Fog Gate to trigger the fight with the Centipede Demon. Take out the Centipede Demon like normal, so that we can collect the orange charred ring. Make your way through Lost Izalith, all the way to the Bed of Chaos boss fight. Using a bow and firebombs makes the first part of this fight significantly less annoying, and from there, you just need to run in and smack the bug to get our first Lord Soul. With the Bed of Chaos defeated, a Force Quit Wrong Orb will send us back to the beginning of the demonic ruins. Now make the trek up to the Valley of Drakes. If you're feeling brave, you can head towards the Four Kings immediately, otherwise, grab the bonfire and Firelink. In either case, when you're ready, equip the Covenant of Artorias and head into New Londo Ruins. If you cast Fall Control and slowly walk off this ledge, you can safely land on the platform below and save and quit out. When you load back in, drop to this other platform, this time without fall control, and save and quit out again. We've now completely bypassed the need to lower the water level in New Londo Ruins, and if you follow this path here, you can safely drop into the abyss. Dropping the scimitar here will make it easy to find where the second king will spawn. Other than that, fight the four kings like normal. This time around, it was only actually 3 kings. No matter how many kings you fight, once the boss fight is done, we'll have our second Lord Soul and can use the bonfire to warp to the Undead Parish. From the Undead Parish, we're going to head back into Sen's Fortress, this time going all the way to the top. After a quick fight with the Iron Golem, we can freely enter Anor Londo. Once you're in Anor Londo, grab the bonfire and head towards the entrance to the Duke's Archives. Since I showed off how to get into the Duke's Archives early using the death cam in my last video, I figured I'd show off a different method this time, the seam walk. The basic idea is to use a bow to make a series of precise movements along a seam at the edge of the map to get onto the ceiling of the archives. I'll link to a tutorial by Marionette on how to do this in the description. Once you're on the ceiling, a force quit wrong warp will get us inside the archives. To correct myself from my last video, you are not soft locked if you rest at a bonfire inside the archives with the fog gate active, so you can grab it if you want to. Otherwise, head directly through the archives, either normally or using Duke Skip or Duke Warp to bypass the prison sequence. Make your way through the rest of the archives and the crystal caves, and then take out Seath like normal. If you rested at a bonfire inside the archives, run up against the gold fog gate and perform a force quit wrong warp to get back to the start of Anne Orlando. We can also return to Sen's fortress by talking to the Batwing demon, and then perform a force quit wrong warp to escape Sen's fortress. With Seath dealt with, we only have Nito's soul remaining. There's no known way to start the fight with Nito early, the end. So while it's true that there is no known way to start the fight with Nito without placing the Lordvessel, that doesn't mean there is no hope for it becoming possible in the future. Let's explore a couple of interesting avenues that could eventually lead to a fog gate skip. Most of you probably know about the Gravelord Covenant and how you access it by lying in this coffin with an Eye of Death in your inventory. What you may not know is that this is not a copy of Nito's boss room. This is the very same room you fight him in. If we could somehow get up to the entrance ledge from the boss room and past the fog gate, demonstrated here by modding, you'll see that the boss fight does trigger when we walk through the fog gate. While this is interesting, I also think it's unlikely to be the solution due to there being no known way to upwarp without an elevator. Something a bit more interesting is that if you could somehow trick the game into thinking you entered the room through a different means, the trigger to start the boss fight is present. I am unsure about the likelihood of finding a way to do this, but it's something to take note of. Another possibility is finding a death cam trigger we can touch without dying. While the death cam is active, many objects do not load in, including golden fog gates. I'm again demonstrating this via modding, but if we could find one in-game, it's definitely possible to skip the fog gate. Personally, I believe this is the solution that is most likely to be found. And as of now, that's as far as we're able to get with this challenge. Although we weren't able to complete it, I hope you found the video interesting regardless, and I will see you guys in another video.